Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tartarian Australian podcast with Autodidactic, the little legend of Australia's Tartarian realm, who's about to be off to the very exciting first ever Tartarian conference in Birmingham, UK with Martin. We're so excited, and joined as well with JoJoe, a wonderful new guest of ours, located in the mountainous range of Victoria and following the Tartarian journey right alongside us. So, hey guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Campbell, better give us a bit of a heads up with what's going on tonight, tomorrow. Yes, very exciting.
Yes. So I'm only going to be there in cyberspace. can't fly to England, but yeah, it's starting at 12 p.m. England time, UK time today. So that is about 6 hours away, I think. The first ever Tartarian Great Tartaria event, live event, 250 people going, pulled together by Martin Liedtke. In 3 weeks, he's pulled it all together. I've got allegedly Dave, Futures of the Past, a few other people, Martin. I've got a bit of a video that might be shown, that he's got a dance party. So yeah, 12 hours, and it's all going to be live streamed. So the first big, Tartaria online event, pretty much.
It's so fucking cool. I am so pumped. I mean, I fucking feel like Joe and I were just like, this feels like a Friday night fucking party, man. Like we are going to be there. How exciting. And like it's sold out, hasn't it? Which is
yeah. It's all standing room only as far as I know. Yeah.
Oh gosh, the joys of being in a room completely with our own people. It would be so amazing.
Yes, they're going to have a ball. I've had a couple of meetups just, with sort of 10 or so people, and they all just go, oh my God, being able to speak, without self-censoring. So you can imagine what the energy there is going to be at the event. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to stream everyone. You can check out my channel. I'm going to go on about an hour or so beforehand, just so I can get all the links, so that everyone knows when it starts, and we can all jump across and have a chat in the live stream for 12 hours. So clear the diary, jump into bed if you need a bit of a nap.
Get the pizzas. Yeah, well, I'm pumped, man, because I am like secretly in my head pushing for us to sort of like champion the first Tartarian Australian conference somewhere along the line. I'm very excited by this. I'm feeling around December. I think like it's going to be an amazing time, and there's so many people here that would just like be so happy to travel into the middle of nowhere and get away from all this COVID shit and actually have a little party under the stars.
Yeah. What's that thing that they have? Is a Burning Man? We have like a mini Burning Man.
Yeah, a mini Burning. Oh, I'd love that. The Tartarian man. Hey, so also I've got to mention like this little fucking app is cool too. Hey, tell us about this. So this is exciting because they've actually made, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a dating app for the Tartarian crew. I'm just going to say it's an app for us to like get to know where each of us are, if you're desperate to actually speak at your right intellectual capacity and volume and speed, and it's really important because, not only are we literally muzzled these days, well, we're not, but, the general community is. You guys are always muzzled. I can see a floating flat earth.
Green screen's killing it. There we go.
What's it actually called?
So it's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app.
Yep.
By Blue Water. Is that right? Blue Water?
Mine comes up as Flat Earth Clock.
Flat Earth Clock, yeah.
And there's two. We were just saying there's two on the app when you search for it. And we want the one that's Blue Water Bay.
Yeah, Blue Water Bay. It's made by Dave Weiss. Many of you might know Dave. He's put a lot of work, and they've just released the Friend Finder. And actually
makes my heart sing. The Friend Finder, the Tartarian Friend Finder.
And I watched a live stream yesterday on Jeranism, and they had a call in, and so many people were just saying that they've been hooking up. So it's not a dating app, but use it as you wish. Like-minded people, all that kind of stuff.
Look, basically, if you're going to date, if you're going to date, find your person, man. Find your right people, because like you can't date someone who's not here with this information. Really, at this point, you can't do it. No. It's so much more satisfying and fulfilling when you're on the same page with this stuff. I tell you, and you can go on adventures.
There's so many, so fraught going forward, like the big V or not. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know it's breaking up everyone. So, yeah.
Can you see that? That's Melbourne, a top view of Melbourne, and all those dots are people with this app who have got it turned on. So it's an update, and so not everyone's updated yet. So basically,
show
every
it again.
day,
I've just put you on big screen. Show the app again. Show that little blue numbers.
Oh, green screen. What are you doing to me?
That's
there.
pretty
Can
cool.
You see that? Gosh. Yeah, so lots and lots of dots, and there's getting more every day basically. So and it's $1. It's $1 to get the app, and basically you with that you don't get the facility to chat. That costs $1 a month. You've got to pay $12. Now if that's out of the range, what Dave said is, he said just put your email address as your username, and then people can just email you. You know, so yeah, you don't even have to do the $12 a year or whatever. $1 and you can get in there. Well, $1 US, so about $53 Australian, I think.
How exciting. Well, I just think that's the coolest thing, guys. See, this is the beautiful balance in our universe. Like, you know, as we've all got very not only isolated from the whole apple juice, the V word, the apple juice,
apple juice, yeah.
But also from the entire like the lockdown and soon to be the lockout, and like not only that, we've also pretty much considered very extreme, intense and crazy by anyone who is like in any way connected to anything other than the rabbit holes we've gone in. So, I mean, the concept of like a dating, friendship, community app for our communities is fucking awesome. It's perfect timing. So I will be getting on there for sure.
It's perfect. And just to make up groups, guys, you know, if you get on there, just send people who are close to you a message and, you know, get 5 of you together, have a chat, you know, then make bigger groups. And that's what it's all for. Yeah.
Have a Devonshire.
I
love a good Devonshire, little damper session around the campfire. Joe and I've had some amazing sessions.
We have, indeed, yes. Yeah. I look forward to more.
Yes, I know. All right, guys, look, let's get into it. Is there anything anyone wants to say about life, the universe, Australia, the apple juice, anything about anything right now that is on anyone's mind before we actually start deep diving into this insane continent of ours called Australiana?
Just say no.
Yeah. Yep.
Just say no.
Yeah. I saw a little meme the other day of like, convince me that all flat earthers wouldn't have convince me that, yeah, they're all in the same boat, because, yeah, we look deeper. So, yeah, but there's so much truth bubbling up. It's a very exciting time. It's a very, very exciting, and it's so good to have this whole realm to delve into and be mind blown rather than feel, you know, subjugated or whatever, to go, yeah, there's so much more to learn and understand and empower ourselves with. Very exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely the unveiling, you know, it might look harsh, but I mean, you know, we're going through whatever we put ourselves through, really. It's all to do with us, and, you know, we can buy into the fear, or we can buy into, you know, creating a better reality, a new reality. So,
yeah, you know, perfect time to remember we're creators, so we don't, as things, slip away and change, and that this whole other thing is ready, and the whole, you know, energy grid, free energy grid across the planet that could be reactivated again. It's like free energy for all again, humming. Everything's humming.
Let's go find the switch, hey?
Yeah.
Well, I did a transmission today with Jen McCarty, international transmission for the 9/9 portal gate, which, by the way, was my birthday, 444 on the 9th of the 9th. Very auspicious for me. So
yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was
happy
yesterday.
birthday. Yes,
happy birthday.
Thank you. I think it's like the best birthday of my lifetime. I think the numbers, the lineup, hello. I didn't know I'd spend my birthday like blissing out at new architectural styles from like a secret underground society that we all live in. But I was going to say, she focused the energy on Australia. And that was really interesting. So what got so there was literally thousands of starseeds today focusing their energy on Australia. And what came up was this there's a black symbol that is like basically overlaid the whole grid of Australia that looks like a prison cell. Like it's a black prison cell symbol, and Australia is the prototype for what's happening across the planet right now. And it's basically been shrouded in black, which I think is so interesting, because one of the things about Melbourne that's actually infamous about Melbourne is that everyone wears black. And like Melbourne's famous. Yeah, I mean, Melbourne is famous for the fashion being black. And if you leave Melbourne, it literally takes you a few years to like withdraw and bring color back to your fashion. I've been through it. And so the symbol that got brought up today was this prison symbol. And then we brought forward 22,000 policemen and women. And we ended up putting a white dove over their heads and looking into their hearts, which were like basically shut off and blackened out, because they've been like programmed to turn off their heart chakras. So the whole transmission was about us opening up their heart chakras and putting this dove energy, which was bringing Rainbow Bridge back into their hearts, of the Australian Police Force.
There was a new moon last night, and I don't know if anyone else saw it, but Venus is right there, and Venus is the planet of love and the heart chakra. So it felt beautiful last night. It was so potent out under the moon.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yep. Well, actually, it was really interesting, Joe, because when she brought up Australia, because the whole transmission, the 9-9 portal gate is about divine union, like the love, completion, divine union. So perfect that Venus was engaged. So, but when she brought up Australia, I just got this instant, weird cold sweat. Like I just got this huge cold sweat that went over it was really noticeable to me. I was like, it's never happened before when I've been doing these transmissions. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in Melbourne, and it was just like a cloud.
Oh, that's really funny. Yesterday I took this photograph, and the clouds were really bizarre. And when you looked closely at it, you could see so many faces, and it was like the ancestors. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that.
Vaguely. Now bring it closer to you. We'll put it in the chat. We'll upload it and put it in.
But there's just so many faces. There's indigenous faces. There's all sorts. So there's hundreds of them in there. It's like, is something going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, bizarre.
So last week, Campbell and I were chewing on this like hypothesis that potentially Australia, being the prototype nation for this deep, stark, magical rollout, also being considered the heart center of the earth by our indigenous and starseeds communities, and the inversion of having Pine Gap right beside it and most likely underneath it, and then surrounded by this desolate desert of a civilization that's potentially so old and desolated that its underground may be completely alive and ancient and huge, that potentially it could be one of the major control centers of this like inverted dark agenda that's been controlling the planet. So we were just chewing on that.
So many tunnels going from Pine Gap, like all the way to Darwin, like everywhere. So who knows what has been going on.
I'm pretty sure all the continents are connected under the oceans with tunnels. And if that's true, then guess what Australia's closest to, right? We're closest to Antarctica.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we've got like, of course, and then the other major sign is that the desert's basically red, and it's like red sand, and all these buildings are made of red brick. So yeah. So what I did today is I just went around, because I've never done this, and compiled a whole pile of images from like land masses in Australia. And like, it's not like we have shitloads of them. We've been pretty like flattened out for a vast majority, but the ones I found are pretty crazy. And I thought I just screen share, and we'll go through the images and see what you guys have. Just talk, just like see what you have to say about it. So
have you seen the star for it? Out in
Exmouth.
Is there one at Exmouth too? Is there?
Yeah,
There's
we
one
got a
out
shot of that. Got a shot of that one.
in, I think it's WA, but down near the border of South Australia. Like a really old one. Like it just.
You guys got a picture? Bring it up. Screen
I've got
share.
my tech guy onto it.
I'm gonna start.
Do I have to give you permission?
No, well, I'll have to look for it. So bring up yours, and I'll have a.
All right, you got your. Can you bring yours up, Josh? Should I just start with the?
Yeah, no, here it is.
Yeah, so because I've been wondering why Australia's not full of freaking stuff. Oh, that I've got pictures of this too.
Yeah, it's in Exmouth.
Oh, that yeah. Out on it's out on like a peninsula thing, isn't it?
So is that a star fort? I thought it was like a harp center.
Yeah, it is. It's like a harp thing. I haven't been able. You can't zoom in, because Google Earth that well. So I'm not sure what's in the middle, but you can almost see. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like a hexagon in the middle.
Yeah.
Sort of where the ends of those whatever they are, those inner sort of lines are. So who knows?
And interesting also that the water course going through there as well. Like
yeah,
and
exactly. It's got water in there, which could be old canals, and it looks the actual. Well, it's a 6-sided star, but it's the same as what Michelle Gibson found up in the USA. Same shape.
Michelle Gibson.
So, because like, why do you think Australia has so few star forts? Is it just that they've got destroyed?
Yeah, I mean, there's at Sydney Harbour, there's one on each side of the heads. There's in Perth, we've got the Roundhouse, which is like the remains of a satellite. A lot of the big war memorials are the tops of star forts.
Right.
Yeah, go and have a look at them. They're all raised up. They've all got the geometry. They've all got an obelisk, right? Because you raise obelisks to remember the fallen, apparently. So there's a lot around. It's just all been, it's either old and destroyed, or it's been just facaded, re-facaded. There's one in Hobart, Kangaroo Point. Like I mean, that just blows the narrative apart. They were supposed to have been finished building all these star forts in the early 1700s. So, how did one get built, in 1800, 100 years later in Tasmania?
Yeah.
It's just, so there's definitely, they're out there. They're just all hidden.
Yeah.
We don't have good examples like you find in the USA and all that kind of stuff.
Well, there must be one in Melbourne, for fuck's sake. Like, it's so Tartarian here. I should go check out the War Memorial.
Well, there was one underneath Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Statues. You just got to look for the grandest statues and look under them, really. Like the Statue of Liberty. They're just, I don't know if that. Yeah.
So, under the Sydney Harbour Bridge, there was one. It was a castle. It was, here it is. I found it. Star Fort.
Under the Sydney Harbour Bridge? I didn't know that one.
Yeah. It was Fort MacArthur, was it? Fort.
Is that the one with the lighthouse?
It did have a lighthouse, and it had a castle, and then they turned it into a tram depot, and then they knocked it all over and put the bridge there. As you do, because you turn castles in, and they tried to say that it was a different building, but it was the same, a big red brick building that looked like a castle. And they say, oh no, we built that as a tram depot. Oh, okay, you built a castle as a tram depot, did you?
I mean, I went to Melbourne Uni campus this week, and it is like a massive, full-on 10 acres of castle action. Yeah. And like they just opened that up for 10 students in a year. 1889, just like they had 10 students enrolled, and they built this friggin' 10-acre castle. It was insane. It's insane. I feel like I'm making tourist videos in Europe.
It's ridiculous, and insane asylums too. We got one in Fremantle, and it's massive. It's just such a scam, such a. Do you want me to show you this picture?
It. Bring it up. Yeah, go for it.
I find it really fascinating that they turn them all into institutional, like really negative energy on all those ley lines. Mental institutions, parliament, hospitals. Boarding schools. And yeah, then
Absolutely.
These are a big
then all
one.
that negative energy flowing out in the ley lines. It's dastardly, really.
And then they've converted all of those into living apartments now. So now people are living on all those disgustingly like hijacked negative ley lines. Like
Yeah.
people here in Melbourne, like all the lunatic asylums are now apartments. All
And
the
the
prison.
jail.
Oh,
The Melbourne jail. Didn't they turn that all into?
yes.
Yeah.
That's a castle too. Or Pentridge is a castle, isn't it? Old Pentridge.
Oh, imagine the juju in there. Oh,
That's what they do. They just invert everything. Can you see that? It's not the best. It's just a screenshot from Google Earth.
Oh yeah, it's fuzzy.
It's very
yes.
fuzzy. But can you see that?
Yes.
And that's just out in the desert. And there are other shapes and stuff around it. So there's stuff like that out there. But I mean, you can imagine, you know, with an interior the size of Australia, they're not the easiest to find. There's a lot of.
I'm convinced we've seen a pyramid too over.
There's some in New South Wales in the bush, and there's obviously Gympie.
Yeah, it's right in the bush and it's all covered, but you can't really access it. But it's so clearly.
Yeah.
I saw them years ago. I think
near
there
my
was
farm,
2 or
there
3
was
of
one.
them, and they're totally in the bush, and they're
Yep.
completely covered in trees. But you can just
there's
make
one
them
in
out.
Queensland somewhere too. I think that a friend tried to visit and access, but it's all fenced off.
Oh, really? And there's Walsh's pyramid. I used to live in Cairns, and I used to wake up and just see this pyramid every day. It's called Walsh's pyramid.
Could you access it? Could you go close?
That one. Yeah, I walked up it. They actually have a race up it every year. So that one you can get up, but it's you know, they don't say, they just say, oh, it's just a mountain called, you know, a pyramid, and it's
just a mountain called a pyramid.
And is it black mountain, is that what it's called, Black Mountain or Black Rock Mountain? Or
I reckon next week we'll bring up all the pyramids.
Yeah, up in Queensland there's like a Black Mountain or black something, and it's got all this like all this weird spirity, you know, strange stuff goes on there, and the local, you know, that indigenous won't go near it, and they say it's all bad. And so there's heaps of stuff out there, you know. I mean, you know, there's Egyptian hieroglyphs in the Blue Mountains, right?
There is indeed.
Yeah, I've seen those, yes.
My gosh. All right, I'm going to screen share. Let's have a chat about some of this stuff. Let's see. All right. All right.
Oh gosh.
Ooh. Is that me? All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right. So I just like typed in. So this has all come out under meteors in Australia. So which obviously we don't have. You know, meteors aren't a thing according to the flat Earth theory. So potentially these are some form of plugs, drain hole, sinkhole, where actually water came up potentially out of the ground and was part of this flooding process versus it being this thing that came down onto the ground. Any thoughts, Joe?
Well, it reminds me of the same formation as Wilpena Pound. It's got more coverage over it at Wilpena Pound, but very similar. It's I don't know, volcanic. I don't know, or, you know, like the remnants, you know, how a giant tree trunk that then, you know, the middle gets worn away. So you're just left with sort of a low outside bit. I don't know.
Well, there's so many of them.
What's the white bit in the middle? Is that sand?
It looks like sand. So Australia actually is covered in these craters. Have you seen pictures of these before?
Yeah.
So that one to me looks like it could have been a tree, a remnants of a tree trunk.
Well, if you think macro, that looks like. Have you seen pictures of the, you know, off from like away from this realm of another littler realm? Looks like that to me.
That actually looks similar to the depiction of the flat Earth. It's like the mountains in the Arctic, and there's this. I think that may have been similar to that is the first one. But look at that! Look at that redness. That's the Australian red desert right there. What do you think, Campbell? This is
stars down there. That's the scale of it.
Oh, you're on mute, buddy.
Sorry. There's also the mining angle.
Yep.
That it could be leftover mining. I've looked into sort of the whole volcano thing, and if you look at they're called, what are they called? Spill tips or tailing piles are from mining. They look exactly like a volcano, and of course, if they're full of chemicals and things and they explode, you might get this left.
The thing with that theory, though, is that there's no boulders anywhere. Like there's no things lying around. There's nothing that exploded out. That's actually what I was looking for. I was looking for like these craters, but then all around them, it's just nothing. There's no.
Do you know what
debris.
it looks? Do you know what it also looks exactly like? Is what they tell us is on the moon, right?
Yes.
Because look how the bottom of that crater is the level of the land around it. It's really just got this built up ring. There's no hole there. There's no meteorite or anything like that. That silly story they try and tell us. Yeah.
Well, look.
Giant worms. God, I don't know.
Giant worms. Gosh. Giant crabs. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Some sort of form of giant insect. Bug coming up bubbling up from underground.
That looks like an eye.
Like, look at that.
Yeah, wow.
So that almost could be a tree, couldn't it? Looking
that one looks, that feels like a very old weathered, because that's I think it's this one. Anyway, I'm just running through that. I think that's the same. Of course, we've got the old rock. The old rock. Look at her.
Yeah, remember we spoke the other day, Kelly, about the connection that I found with this picture of an indigenous shaman from years ago. I think we can get it up on the screen. And he's got painted on his torso the same symbol that has shown up in Göbekli Tepe. So I wonder if it's not a portal, actually. There's like a giant generator or portal going on in there.
I would say that's very accurate. There's no like Pine Gap's right there. Like Pine Gap wasn't accidental. That was already there. They would have found Pine Gap. And I looked for look, this is Pine Gap. This is what it looks like. Because I hadn't actually examined it before. But look, that's like on a very sharp ridge. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It does look a bit like a circuit board. Weird.
It does, doesn't it? The top of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's this and it's got these balls on it. See if I can look at these. I didn't even know this. What do you reckon they are?
Oh gosh, what are the hydrogen tanks or God, no, I don't know.
They're pretty odd.
They are odd.
So I've never actually, so that's Pine Gap from a distance. So it's it's got all of this behind it. And it seems to be on really like a ledge of granite.
Granite, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
like this, all this here is granite.
Is it?
I think, yeah. So it's like, you can see that it's like at the top of what looks like a ridge. And it's like, so obviously it's severely underground. I couldn't find any pictures of Pine Gap from the inside. Apparently there's a few documentaries that have been made, but nothing, I could find nothing looking at Pine Gap. So just so
previous of most documentaries, it'd be like a NASA documentary or something.
Yeah, they will be all lame and I did actually have.
Do you want to have a look at this image of the shaman dude with his
the symbol?
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Yeah,
hang on, I'll stop sharing. Go for it.
Because Göbekli Tepe is a pretty interesting place, but yeah, you can see the the horseshoe upside like and they look like magnets as well.
Yeah.
They look like like magnets. I don't know.
Horseshoe magnet.
I don't know.
It's like a portal, isn't it? That's what it instantly makes me think of.
I don't know when this picture was taken, but that's a pretty old photograph. And it's here in Australia. I don't think he ever went to Turkey.
Probably not.
Unless he went to the World Trade Fair. He was rolled out at the World Trade Fair. I mean, I was watching something about the fact that our indigenous were basically they were rolled out at these World Trade Fairs, and they were basically placed in our continents at the same time we were, and that their timeline is the same as ours, and their history has been like deleted and erased and given to them as we have, and they've actually ended up being basically programmed to worship these desolated places that we like see, these like all the sacred spots. And not to see, this is a very controversial concept, but not just the Indigenous Australians, but Indigenous around the world have been part of their programming is to see these desolated areas around the world as their sacred areas. So then they worship and protect these sacred remains, and then they get like they get blocked from the general public from exploring them, therefore keeping the truth of our Tartarian history like further away from us by claiming them to be sacred and putting them in this Indigenous timeline. So that's it. Like, it's a very big thing to get our heads around, that our Indigenous history may be just as false as ours.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's very controversial, isn't it? Especially with what's going on at the moment, and because they tie people to their history, so tightly to their heritage and all this, like you say, protecting sacred spots and all this stuff, but there's not a lot of information behind that. It's all just sort of stories, like you say, that could have been put in. I mean, I'm supposed to be descended from convicts, but that could just be a story, and the thing is, my story is, oh God, hang on.
Campbell has more friends than us, Joe. He's very socially active.
Oh, the thing is, my story is, not as, spiritual, I guess, as some people's. Oh God. Like there's no.
Your app buzzing, Campbell.
Oh, it's the app on fire.
God.
Campbell's dating everyone.
Our stories we just don't get as many, places that are supposed to be our heritage, so we don't run out and protect them, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a descendant of a thief, apparently. Oh my God. Guys, no means no.
I mean, like, it's true. Like, it's a really controversial concept, but at some point, I mean, and potentially we can hold them simultaneously. Like, obviously we're here and we are considered, we call ourselves starseeds, for lack of a better word, but basically humans, HUMANS, like, and we have some connection to that outside of those who went through the reset potentially. Like, there's potentially 2 different groups of human beings just in that alone.
That's my little theory, actually, about the the baby incubators and the babies in the mail, like children, you could buy them. Like, where did all the children come from? And then I was watching something the other day and it was called The 100 Greatest Freaks. Oh my God, like, think Elephant Man, but weirder. Like, it's a really fascinating thing going. They've been doing that for a long time. And potentially all the orphans were clones, and they're the ones lining up for the, like.
And it could also, it could be connected to the RH blood as well. And I've also read that it's connected to blue-eyed, blonde-haired as well. I'm just saying.
Well, there was a lot of Indigenous children that went missing that were blonde, blue-eyed. They're apparently
definitely a big, there is. As far as I can work out, blonde hair and blue-eyed is what they're trying to get rid of.
And you were saying last show, Campbell, that on these portal sites, these high energy sites, Indigenous were being born albino, being born with blue and white hair and white, and that's classic across the world.
If you just do a search for blonde Aboriginal, you'll find heaps of them, kids, and
apparently they were the most psychic.
Yeah, exactly.
So they systemically took them out. So again, cutting off the connection as they did throughout the whole planet.
Yep. They were in South America. They were in New Zealand. as well. There was a race in New Zealand. There's lots of stone, what do they call them? Beehive houses, like the stone sort of beehive looking houses. And there was a race of, blonde haired, blue eyed people. Apparently they were sort of smallish and they lived on all the rivers around there. So, there's such it's like the, fairy tales, right? Everything's completely inverted. The fairy tales are much more true of what's gone on in the past than the stories of his story that we get fed. I mean, just look around, right? Look at the pictures in a fairy tale book, kings and queens, castles everywhere, antiquitech everywhere, the old world clothes, just everything. Oh, but it never existed.
Climbing up beanstalks to different worlds.
To giants.
Yep, the giants, beanstalks, so Tree of Life, Mount Meru, all that kind of stuff.
Peter Pan.
Alchemy. Oh my God.
Man, you got to get onto this app.
Like, the myths are the stories. Yeah, it's hip hop happening for you.
No, it's good he's got his big conference coming up in a few hours. Like, it's pretty bad. So, but hang on a minute. So there's two sides here going on. So, like, I have read information connecting the RH blood. Is it RH? The RH blood.
RH and RH negative, yeah.
Yes. To blonde-haired, blue-eyed children, to them being the cloned children. And because a lot of the orphans, like a huge amount of them, were blonde-haired, blue-eyed. That was the link that was being made. And then at the same time over here, there's another link being made that those blue-haired, blue-eyed, blonde-haired children are the psychic ones that were also coming out of these highly charged energetic areas. So, and then we've got the whole Aryan race and Germany and the genocide and everything there. So
that can be tied into, I'd go with the second one as far as just look at what's going on at the moment, right? With white supreme pizzas and all this kind of stuff. Clearly people with eyes like mine and, we're being, targeted and wiped out. If you look into, the habits of, those elite people, the children they go after are all blonde, blue-eyed. It's definitely something that they want to control. And I mean, we don't have if you look into his story, we don't, as far as, white people or Caucasians, whatever you want to call us, we don't have a real history story, like the Bible's not, that's from the Middle East, right? That's not from Europe. There's nothing from Europe.
Yeah.
Apart from, what do we get? We just get Shakespeare and stuff, which happened, in the 1600s, and he was probably Sir Francis Bacon anyway. So there's a big chunk missing, and so we're sort of told, oh, you've got everything, blah, blah, blah. You're so lucky, you look at the color of your skin. But really, we're kind of the ones with the least connection to our heritage out of everyone when you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the most dispersed.
Yeah. Kelly, back to your melting buildings things. When I was looking at some of the pictures that on Facey the other day or whatever, it made me think of the Philadelphia experiment. And I watched something on that at some point, and it might have been Penny Kelly, I can't remember, but she was talking about time corruption. So that was 1942, and then it corrupted it back to 1492. So between that era there, somewhere something flipped out, potentially to do with that Philadelphia experiment, which reminds me of those buildings.
Yeah, that's Michelle Gibson, and the midpoint between 1492 and 1942 is 1717. And there's a whole, this time bubble, time loop sort of theory that. It's just so weird because these theories are now, you've got to take them seriously. Like, 5 years ago, it'd be still so fringe, but look what's going on. We've got to understand that the story we've been given is so skewed, and it's really skewed to make us think that none of this stuff exists.
Yeah. It's like the technology used in 9/11 where things just melted. It was bizarre. So how long have they had that tech for? Since
exactly
pre the trade fairs, or who knows? Who knows how far? Maybe back to Göbekli Tepe, or like who knows?
Yeah. Well, Sodom and Gomorrah. They're melted.
Yep, the Red Sea. Yeah, like just hello, the center of Australia is like fucking melted. Look, I want to show you guys something, because this is something fascinating. So
and another quick, tomorrow is the 20th anniversary too. Talking about dates, 911.
Oh yeah, right. Interesting. And the first Tartarian conference is going to be on. Excellent timing.
Happening. It's all happening.
Now listen, like this here is one of Australia's most sacred indigenous spots. And most people don't know about it. It's out in the Northern Territory. And what's fascinating about it is like going off. So basically here is the story that's told around it, and I'm not going to get it completely correct, is basically the ancestors spent the time carving out these columns. So they hand carved out these columns and then surrounded them in, and I've got a few photos here, I just surrounded them in artwork, and then did a lot of sacred ceremonies there, and it's become a very protected, I think it's in Arnhem protected sacred spot.
And that's just silly.
Well, and so and of course you would just accept that concept, right? Like until you start to look at Tartaria, and then this becomes a very obvious, like you can see
above that column, that square.
Like that is very obvious to me that we're looking at a structure, a building, the remains of a building. And
why would they carve out all the columns, all higgledy-piggledy, and then just on the roof do right angles, So
we've got, there's a documentary you guys can watch on, I think it's on Stan at the moment, called First Footprints. And it goes into this really beautiful. It's actually an amazing series looking at all of these indigenous spots around sacred areas around Australia. Things you guys wouldn't even know existed, because actually our sacred areas don't really get promoted much here in Australia. We know very little about, like, Australia's got one of the biggest outdoor original art galleries in the world, because it's apparently got the very first depiction of a human face on it, which I'll show you in a minute. But I just thought this was amazing. So we've got all these archaeologists all around this site all the time. You can't go and see it. You have to be invited. It's very coveted and sacred. It's covered in all the way through. There's sacred artifacts and artwork. And yet what I'm looking at now is a ruined Tartarian ancient structure.
I mean, that first shot you showed, there was just bricks and stuff all over the place.
Yeah, let's see if I can
find and it almost looked like there was some stairs or something.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's bricks all over the place.
That's all around the outside of it, yeah. But I mean, this story about, I can't believe they said that they carved this one. I mean, mostly they just sort of say it's a cave that they found, and they might have done a bit of, carving. But I mean, when you see that whole thing, it's like this massive shelf of rock just sitting on these little puny column things. Yeah. But why are they sacred? Why are all these? We get told all they're sacred, but why is this spot? What's the story? Why was it so sacred to them that they felt the need to spend, however, hundreds of years or whatever, carving this out, while at the same time they weren't improving, their lifestyle as far as we can see, right? Or as far as we're told, they were still just nomadic, people. So they did do all this. I mean, why? What's the significance? They never, and we get this everywhere. They might just say, "Oh, it's where one of their gods live," or where something. But it's clearly just a story. For that amount of, for that story to be true, for that amount of effort to be put in over multiple generations, there would need to be something real, tangible there. That some benefit that they were getting tangibly for them to put that effort in.
Yeah.
But we don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's basically, the story goes that for the last 40,000 years, their ancestors have been going to that spot and carving out these columns and painting these stories all over it. obviously it's a great, you know, big camp spot. Hello, it's got a roof and
Oh, it'd be
and
awesome,
like
yeah.
open
Needs a few
living rooms.
walls.
And it
Yeah.
actually wraps all array around. Like it's actually, this is just one section. You imagine it going around almost in a circle. So it's, but like, yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying before. Like these coveted sacred spaces are like made to be sacred. The story's handed over to the storytellers, and then it gets wrapped up in this sort of dreamtime communication. And then it also, and what you see all around the world with sort of sacred sites and the indigenous who have been handed the story, they're very protective of it. And it's very, you're not allowed to just go in there and talk about or ask these questions. Like this is quite like right now, if we were to have this conversation, you know, anywhere outside of this kind of community, we'd be very like, we'd be walking on a glass floor right now, you know, we'd be about to get really beaten up, and for being like so bold as to question the narrative on the indigenous story.
Yeah. That's why there's such a stigma attached to it, and such a push, you know, in through the government, you know, of land rights and banning all this stuff. And if it's not a sacred site, then they'll just have archaeologists there and they'll say, oh, well, it's a site of significance.
Yeah.
You know, unless you've got letters behind your name, you can't go and look there.
Ugh.
You know, it's so they use this, you know, intellectual, you know, bullshit to basically what they're saying is, we're smarter than you. Go away, stupid person. You don't understand. Leave this to the experts.
What's this?
Wave rock. Nice, right?
What is it?
Mining scoop of something. Oh yeah, it's a hard one, that one, because it's just like
Weatherboard.
frozen, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's just like there's some beauty, and there's another really crazy one I'll just find now where like, and then I was actually looking at like, there's another one of the wave rock. What is it? It's like it's a bit more curvy than what we see with the mining stuff everywhere else. That one's like,
it comes over more than 90 degrees, yeah, for sure.
And what about this?
Yeah, there's some in what are they called? I think they're called the Rainbow Mountains or something. I think they're in Africa, and yeah, there's some really amazing landforms. But and geology tries to tell us this is all settling and, you know, different layers of earth and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, you know, that's pretty perfect layering, right?
Yeah, it looks like extrusion.
Yeah. When they pull out different things, and yeah, exactly. And they just sort of putting the refuse from different minerals or whatever on a layer, and then they put the next one on, and maybe they were just into those sand glass jars that we used to sell. They were just doing them on a big scale.
Who's this dude? Did you even know we had him?
Yeah, we know him. I know him. Yeah, I can't remember his name though.
So look how
Malawagi or something.
That's how big it is from above.
It looks so Egyptian to me. That
yeah,
looks really,
so
this looks like Thoth or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's sort of, and then they've likened it to Poseidon.
Yeah.
So, and there's this cave figure as well, sort of a similar dude with the alligator, like that's similar, hey?
Yeah.
But I didn't even know he existed. I didn't know that was even there.
Yeah, well, we're definitely not told about it, and the story is it just appeared. You know, they literally say someone flew over it and it wasn't there, and then they flew over it like 4 days later and it was there. Like that's what they tell you. It's ridiculous.
those guys with their lawnmowers again.
Yeah. Like
if you were going to do that, wouldn't you want to, you know, get some recognition, or at least let someone know you did it? Or, you know, it's like, it's a lot of effort.
A lot of effort. It's an impossible effort.
Well, you'd need GPS, which probably doesn't even really exist.
Like building out a plaster. Like, I can't believe they think with that. Anyway, look at this one. This is like pretty cool. Obviously, obvious. It's very obvious that this was a structure at some point. Here.
Yep. Very, very, lots of right angles.
Yep.
And you can always see some of the bricks in there.
Yep, sorry, you were looking.
That's all right. That's the top of Ayers Rock, yeah? Uluru,
that's the olgas.
Oh, that's the olgas. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I've like never really looked at a top down picture of the olgas, so that's what it looks like.
Kata Tjuta.
Yeah. So I got a few pictures. So it was interesting. Like if you look at it as could it have been a melted down civilization?
No, that one in the middle there looks like bum cheeks and a back and a foot coming out, like right in the middle.
Yeah, it does actually. Yes.
Oh yeah, right.
See that?
Like, it does look a bit like they're like it's like there's several humans lying. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely keeps coming up. I had one of the community members write to me and say that he'd done a whole investigation and that Uluru was a giant's heart, specifically placed there.
An actual heart.
An actual heart, yes. So that to me almost does look like a family lying side by side. Almost.
There's got one in Tasmania too, the sleeping woman or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're everywhere. We've seen,
Yeah, there's an elephant in France, like a mountain called whatever the French word is for elephant. Yep. And some guy's been in there with his drones and he's done all these things, and there's a cave where the ear hole should be, and he's gone in there, and this cave is exactly like an elephant's internal.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's bizarre. Wow. So who knows? I've always wondered, how do these things, if they're real, how do they form, right? And not rot. But I suppose if they were covered in water, mineralized water for a while, then they could turn to stone.
There's the olgas with Ayers Rock in the background.
It's that far away. Okay, yeah. So it's almost it's. And see, the olgas is one of those places where they're supposed to be like blonde-haired kids, born and blue-eyed, and it's like one of the arcs that they've found.
Is there an aerial picture of what the landmarks and stuff are between Uluru and Kata Tjuta there?
I haven't got one, but we should find one.
Is that what it's called? Kata Tjuta? Is that the name?
Yeah, that's the correct. Yeah. Yes. All right. What about, I mean, to me, it doesn't look like ruins so much, although when you get a close up of Ayers Rock, you can see what looks like melted windows and very weathered, but you can see that. But this isn't very classic of what we see in other parts of the world. It looks like it was severe, whatever happened, it was severe. It really took out every sort of element of whatever it was, it's not a tree. I don't think it's, unless it's a giant plant. I mean, it's
like you can see Uluru in the background. It looks much more like, Sodom and Gomorrah, and what you see out those areas like that do look like melted buildings. Just the it doesn't mean it is one, but yeah, the olgas don't. The bungle-bungles is a good one too.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go with the bungle-bungles. What the fuck are the bungle-bungles? Oh my layered. God!
It's
look at that.
Wow.
And look at that one in the middle. See that one in the middle with the two windows in it? Those two square holes.
Yeah,
yep.
Some of the ones in Asia.
Oh, actually, they've all got bloody holes, haven't they? Look at them. Everywhere.
That they definitely look like giant remains, don't they, of civilization?
Yeah, that looks like, that could all be hollow inside for all we know. They could still be in there.
Absolutely.
And it's very similar to the Grand Canyon. What you see in the Grand Canyon.
I mean, it's a
look at the size of it. It's
vast
huge.
landscape.
Yeah.
Unbelievable size frame.
And there's actually things very similar that look pretty similar to that on other continents that they actually call them ruins.
So I don't know the story, if there's an indigenous story about it. I mean, I'm sure there is. Do you guys know any stories?
No, but looking at them, I wonder if they don't hum or make a sound when the wind crosses over them.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've came across a quote the other day from Pythagoras. Well, apparently Pythagoras. Physical matter is music solidified. Because often when you look at all the giant cathedrals, it's like they look like 3D structures, and some of them do have that real, repetitive, which makes me think of, if ether or air or water is it that they would create something maybe. maybe. Again, to look at a whole bigger sky view of it to see what shapes are formed. Like there could be spirals, there could be water involved, there could be,
I definitely think there's water involved. And then, look, I found some caves. So that's so you can
that looks like a temple opening.
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
And there's an archway off to the left there a little bit.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Just off to the left
there.
There's an archway.
Australia actually has some pretty cool cave structures, I have to say. I just grabbed a few pictures of some of the caves. I mean, look at that archway.
There's a lot up in the Daintree. Yeah, that looks like Daintree. Yeah, there's tons.
I don't think we have any idea how many really work underground.
I mean, and it's like when I look at these sort of inside ones, let me find some. I grabbed a few. Oops. Oh, didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, look, these come up a lot. So
a bit like is it Karnak in France?
No, this is well, this
it looks a bit like it, yeah.
These are all over this area in Australia. I grabbed a few of these.
We've definitely got it, some of them in WA up north.
So I'm not even sure. What do you guys think these are? Do you think
maybe they're the tops of ancient Tartarian buildings that have been? Who knows? Who knows that?
I was wondering if they were like potentially plant remains, because they have so much like there's like a cluster of them. But wasn't sure. And then I found this little guy. Just sitting around. Out in the desert.
Is that red knob? There's one that goes near here in Tewton.
It's called Chambers Pillar. Chambers Pillar.
Wow.
And it's like just there, like you can see there's hardly anything else around it. And it's just out there, Chambers Pillar. And and then when I was looking at that, I found this awesome one. This is off the coast of Tasmania, just to get dramatic. This was like the most dramatic images I found on the whole journey. You ready? This is just off the coast of Tasmania. How freaking Viking does that look?
But what is it like? It just wow.
It's called Eddie's Stone. And it's I didn't even know it existed. Hang on, I've got some more images.
There's incredible architecture in Tassie.
Yeah,
there's so much of it in Tassie. Wow, that's amazing.
Looks like a town up on a top of a plateau, doesn't it?
I know. Like, whatever happened to Australia, man? It got fucked up.
And this is the thing about geology. You know, geology has all these theories, and this is how everything's formed. And you go and you find an anomaly like that, and say, how did that get formed? And they just go, it's an anomaly. We don't.
Like, look at that. Look at that picture there. The one. This is Eddie's. The Chambers Pillar, and then compare it to the one I just showed you. Like, they are so similar.
Very similar, yeah.
And then there's this little dude hanging out on its like half size. And then just because it's like, then we've got all these sorts of things. So like, just because Australia gives the illusion of being just like totally flat. But actually, when you're out there in the desert, it's full of canyons. Like, it is fully laid with canyons. So you get all these sort of water holes everywhere.
And that's the other thing. We're told there's no water out there, right? And it's so hard to survive, and don't go out there, you'll die.
No,
but there's water everywhere.
There's water everywhere. Look at that.
Yeah.
And look, once again, look how red that rock is.
That's ridiculous.
It's so red.
And see, there could be stuff under that water, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. And then we've got heaps of canyons like this. We have water running down but look at that rock, and it's all like this, and it's all red.
It's very similar to Arizona, isn't it? You know, in the US.
Really similar to Arizona.
I see that picture there, Carol, with the faces.
Oh yeah, that was one of this one here. This is
what are they called?
What are they called? But
the Wangina. The Wangina.
That's right. I'll just go back to the photo that I took the other day.
Oh yeah. Well, I captured some of these rock pictures because I just thought it was interesting from the Tartarian perspective. If these were number one proposition, they were staged, as in it's just part of the story that they've been selling to us. So they have no historical relevance at all, like everything we know about history. Or they actually did depict like some truth about who the people they were interacting were with. Oh, yeah, right. So that's a very bubbly sky there, Joe. So you took that yesterday.
Yeah, do you want to go back out a bit?
Yeah, interesting. That those cloud
There's
formations have a name.
Stop moving it.
Woo! Yeah. Yeah, I mean that looks like the bungles to me. Doesn't that just look like the cloud version of the bungles?
There's so many faces in there. It's really trippy.
Yeah, it's a trippy one. Yeah. That is that one looks like a trippy, unnatural, like they put something into the cloud.
That's the dark cloud over Melbourne.
There's been a flight pattern go over Dalesford and Bendigo the last week. We've noticed on the flight app thing, and just doing this like a hop.
Yeah, right. Are they? Is there chemtrails?
Not so many in the pandemic. There's the odd one. I've got some pictures of some bizarre ones, but yeah, that did seem a bit weird to me, those clouds. But it just looked like the ancestors. I don't know. There's so many faces. It's bizarre.
Wow, amazing. All right, let's get out of your. Yeah, I'll show you. So, what do you guys think of like? Oh wait, we're not on screen share, are we? Hang on. Well, I mean, it's pretty fascinating looking at Australia from the Tartarian perspective. Let me show you. So this is one thing that's just, I feel like, hello. What do you guys think of these little monoliths that got popped up all last year? Apparently there's 1,100 of them all around the planet. There's one there right in the Australian desert.
Oh,
Any
really?
thoughts? Yeah.
I didn't know. There's 100 of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Movie?
The Galactic Federation
of Light. Planet of the Apes.
Well, very much.
And also
Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
But like the Galactic Federation of Light, whomever they are, from what interdimensional expanded flat Earth model we have, so they will all go online at some point soon enough, and it'll be in time with the sun event. So I think the sun event.
Which event? Like the darkness event?
All right, I just wanted to show you this for anyone who doesn't know, because our audience don't often know where Ayers Rock and Pine Gap is. I just wanted to bring this map up. I wanted to show you before. So just to give you a perspective of where we're talking in Australia right now with Pine Gap. But then we've got these little fellas popping up. They're all over around Australia, which I think they look like plant roots to me. We got strange little dudes like this.
Gosh.
Which they just look like ancient remains.
Yeah, there's like the devil's marbles almost, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the devil's marbles. Got a bit of I've got some of those here. Now this is off the coastline. I think it's in the Northern Territory, and it's just red brick like this, right? And just like this, piles and piles and piles. And it's really famous because it's got all this artwork on it, right? And what made it really super famous, like there's something like 70,000 different pieces of art. Like apparently it's the world's oldest outdoor gallery. No one in Australia knows about it. This is apparently, this is what they've called the very first face ever depicted graphically by a human being.
Wow, that looks Celtic almost.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm.
Doesn't look.
Or Aztec even.
So this is the piece that made it super famous, but yeah, it definitely doesn't look indigenous to us.
No, and look how intricate it is. And some of the other shots you showed of that kangaroo or whatever it was, it looks like a 3-year-old's drawn.
I know. I know. Once again, the older it is, the better it is.
Exactly. It's just
defying all of Darwin's theory of evolution. So, but look at that. I mean, it's just basically piles and piles of red stone like this. Just mounds and mounds and mounds of it. Look at this dude. I thought, is that a Phoenician? That's my first thought. I thought that's a Phoenician, but I don't know.
Is that a gun above him?
I just don't know.
Maybe he's Tartarian.
But it's got the hat on, like it's almost like a Spanish or almost Phrygian.
And like a musket or something.
Yeah, like almost Spanish. They're almost like the pants also look like they're sort of pantaloons. Is that what they're called?
Yep.
Those puffy ones.
So that's a very interesting. And then look at this one. I thought there's a fucking giant right there.
Yeah. And what's that being in the middle with the funny antenna head?
Yeah, look at those heads.
And the big round body.
Like, this is the thing that gets me about this sort of artwork, right? Basically, like, you've got the human standing, you've got these real things standing in front of you. Like, you just like, why do stick figures? And then why do stick figures that aren't even like real? Like, if you haven't got the imagination capacity to fill out what's right in front of you, why would you then depict it even weirder? Like, we can't even do that. We don't even create weirder characters than what's in front of us.
Yeah, I reckon a lot of those dudes were, you know, they were moving through worlds, and they were in touch with, like, there's pictures in some of the caves that Graham Hancock goes into of the alien, you know, like ladders up to spaceship looking things. And yeah, who knows what those guys were up to back then. They would have had free reign to, I think they were interdimensional beings.
They had to be.
Well, I think we're at least in communication with them, and that's what's been sort of taken on. Right? That would explain why the history's been taken, why we've been told none of this stuff exists, why they, you know, go after the psychics, all that kind of stuff. Is they don't want us to know we're part of something bigger. They want to see.
That's why they go after the astrology and the tarot and just can it all. Like, it's our connection to deeper knowing ourselves.
That's the thing, right? If you read your astrology every day or every week or whatever it is, you know, in the paper, those sun sign things they do, you're normal. But if you look into astrology, you're a weirdo. Come on.
Just don't go deep on anything. Just don't go deep on anything. Just take the cereal. God damn it.
And believe what we tell you.
Yes. The blue pill.
Just accept the Kellogg's health pyramid. That's it. That's all we need to do. So look at this one. This is interesting. I just thought, wow, I mean, like, you know, that's like a bit of a depiction of a Tartarian type structure. Maybe.
Yep. Arches.
Yep.
Drawn by a 3-year-old again, but, you know, not
what
bad.
is with that? Why 3? I mean, literally, like, let's not, like, ignore what's obvious. It literally could have been drawn by the 3-year-olds. This literally could be the kids.
It could be the Giants kids.
Yeah,
because you see the dot painting and it's so intricate and so well done. And even, like, you know, the skeleton sort of pictures they do, they're a lot better done than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, what's going on here?
But a lot of it also, like that one, that side bit, but the first picture you showed, a lot of it, these cave pictures might be to do with, you know, plasma events in the sky and what people were seeing.
Yep.
You know, like the standing man and the ladder, they're all like plasma symbols.
The old standing man. Well, this one was just a trippy little thing. I don't know what it was. I guess
the second guy, he's like got his hands up. He's happy.
Yeah. I don't know what this thing going across the bottom is. Maybe just lots of spears. And then I just was, there's another one. Look at that. Look, that's the same one.
Same one a bit further on. That's a big bird.
That's a big bird. It's a big bird. So then, like, we're just looking at some of this. I looked at some of the mythical inverted commas creatures of Australia. This was a depiction of the bunyip.
What?
Yeah, the bunyip was apparently like this big water tiger creature.
I knew it was near water, but yeah. Not like
I pictured more like Shrek or something.
Yeah, that's like a hairy, like Captain Caveman or something.
Yeah, but like that's what. Yeah, this is the bunyip. Yeah,
like drop here.
And then this one here, this is another version of the yowie.
No.
Yeah, so like this, which is not how I've ever depicted or seen the depiction of the yowie. I just found that last night. There was another odd one. Then we got.
There's stories around here of the black jaguar. Maybe that's it.
That's what I was thinking when I saw that first one.
Yeah, that's more bunyip guy.
Bigfoot's brother. Yeah.
Biggie.
Yeah.
Bigfoot. So have I got another one? I found a few, but I didn't all come across. What the hell is this?
Oh, pink
That's the
lake.
pink lake.
Yeah, but
That's it's to do with it'd be either like a plankton or something in the water, some kind of plant or something.
Yeah, or the mineral that's in
Minerals.
mineral content or something.
well, that's
Stunning.
boring.
Pretty
That's
cool.
boring though. Isn't it?
It's a melted building. It's turned to soup.
Then we've got the 12 apostles here in Victoria. So they're just like broken off rock formation.
I think they're 11 now.
11, one's fallen.
Oh.
Yeah. And
So,
the London Bridge fell as well.
Oh, did it?
Oh, that was years ago, I think. That was like
gosh.
20 years ago or something.
it got condemned by the nursery rhyme. Fucking down, man. So anyway, well, that's like they could have easily have been structures now gone, decimated.
Well, I mean, if they're still falling over and breaking, then you know, it shows us that even a couple of 100 years ago, there was probably a lot more there than what we see now.
I know. And then we've got the Glass Mountains, of course, the three sisters, which really, actually looking at them last night, they to me, what do you think of this whole range? Do you think
they don't look like women?
No. Yeah, don't even know where.
Well,
yeah,
the three sisters are actually quite close to the Hydro Majestic. They're not far.
Oh, Joe, let's talk about that. Have you got a picture there?
Oh,
Oh.
no, not close, not on hand.
Do you know about this, Campbell? Tell him everything. I didn't know anything about it.
Hydro Majestic, no.
Let's find some pictures. Yeah, obviously it's the Hydro Majestic. It's built in Katoomba in the Blue Mountains, and it's
nice. Yeah,
set right on the edge of this huge valley, and it's called the Hydro Majestic. So I think it was built and used for some. I don't know the history of it. It's mind-boggling. We're just trying to find some couple of pics.
So it's a Tartarian structure, basically.
Yeah, there's big domes on it, and yeah, it would have been an energy plant. There would have been water more accessible, probably, and what a place to capture the ether up there, right on the edge of that incredible.
You got a picture there? Should we try to find one quickly?
Yeah, no, we've got one, but it doesn't really show the dome. Oh, right. No, it doesn't really show the dome.
Let's find one. Hydro Majestic. There's definitely, oh yeah, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, I can see. So this was built like, here, I'll just screen share my very overloaded desktop.
I'm also excited to talk some of this with you guys. I found the other day in an op shop in Maryborough.
Oh yes, yes, I was excited that one too, Joe. So that's like a book of old photos from Melbourne town. All right, did I get it? We found the Hydro Majestic.
You got it?
Oh,
there.
Wow.
So it's like right on top of the Blue Mountains, like hardcore. So that's pretty.
There's domes. There we go.
Yep, there's a dome. Lovely. Why do they always paint out everything and make everything? Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Morning.
It's all painted black.
Ooh. No, yep.
Wow, how's those? Yeah.
So is that it there too? Yeah, that's quite a dome.
That's it. Yep.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's just, well, its position is the fascinating thing, isn't it? So it's like right on the top of that cliff.
Escarpment, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty. When did it say it got built, Joe? Do you know the history?
No, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Here we fucking go. Who wants to put a bet that it got built in 1 year?
Yeah.
Fucking, let's put a bet, man. I mean, I look at this stuff every day now because I'm out marching around Melbourne. Oh, it does my head in. This was built in 1889 to 1890.
You should see some of the ones in Ballarat. It's like, when you all getting old, who did these?
Most of the construction took place in 1903.
Get
one year.
It's so fucking It's just like they just decided that was it. Everything just got built in 1 year. Don't worry about it.
And
like
up in the Blue Mountains, it would have taken them a year to get the bloody materials up there.
Up in the blue, 1 year.
1 year.
One friggin' year. Drives me mental. I don't like, oh, look, here's some of the original. Here we go. Let's get up some history. I like a good, it's not very clear. Am I still screen sharing?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look. Yep.
Not very flat, is it?
1 year. So they just basically whip that up. So what, did they even have electricity back then?
I doubt they would have had it in the Blue Mountains. I think, 1880s, they were getting it in some cities. So I doubt they'd have it up there.
In the heart of the Blue Mountains. Yeah, look at that. Look at that landscape around it. There's nothing.
I mean, so that was clearly that would have been a machine, probably big hydroelectric energy thing or something. And now they turn them into hotels. That's why they never quite work, these old buildings. They've always got these funny little spaces and things in them.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other night about, trying to keep a castle warm, like so not functional. It's not. As somewhere to live, like freezing.
Well, they don't even have
bathrooms
toilets
too, right? Like everyone's going, why are there no bathrooms? And people are like, oh, they were breatharians. And I'm like, well, it was a machine. Who lives inside a machine? Why would you need a bathroom?
Yeah, that's right. They didn't have kitchens or bathrooms, did they?
Yeah.
There we go. Some of the look at that. There's some of the stone.
What? And this is the other thing. It's never just the building, is it? You look around there, there's staircases and gardens and all this stuff everywhere.
So that's the view.
Which they always never mention.
That's the view. So that's what they managed to build in a year. When, like, did we even have roads up there? What was it, 1901? What was it, 1901 or something?
Yeah, 1903.
Fuck off. 1903, we managed to get up there and build all this. I don't think so.
Maybe they had the Snowy River horses on it.
Yeah. And it's 115 years after, they rocked up on boats and there was nothing here.
Wow.
So 115 years from nothing, and they can do that.
They're just you just get speechless at it, really. There's one Facebook page. I know everyone's going to relate to this here in Melbourne called it's the Lost History of Melbourne page. And I know everyone that's on this Facebook group are like constantly batting heads with this Facebook page. It's so funny to watch. Like, it's now like they must be, and I've watched the admin person from this Facebook page, and he's not blocking the Tartarian hunters as much as he was at the beginning. And it's because everyone keeps saying the same thing. Everyone's taking these pictures he's putting through the feed and going, mud flood, how could we build that? Impossible, there was no power, we didn't even and saying the same narrative. And suddenly he's had to actually stop and go, I'm being inundated by hundreds of comments saying the same thing. I can't put this down to lunatics anymore. Yeah. Because he was
just a big group of us, a big group of lunatics.
And the thing is, you can't, once someone presents you with that information, it's like, if you actually stop to think about it, you do actually love history and you're actually generally interested.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, that's true. Now I've thought about it.
How was it? With an older friend of mine the other day, he's maybe 70 or whatever and totally into history, and I just started talking. I sent him a couple of your YouTubies, Cambell.
Oh, thank you.
And he's got a big open mind, so I reckon he'll be back in the next few days going, oh my God. Because once you see it, you can't not see it.
Yeah.
It's normally enough to get people to question, at least a question.
Yeah.
Because we've just been, and it's funny, with all these history pages, and you go on and they're so proud, aren't they? And they're all part of their little history societies, and they got their book and they tell you the story. But the problem, all of them, they tell you the story. You ask one question that's not in their narrative, and they got nothing.
Yeah,
they're probably all Freemasons anyway. And
they just have this spreading the story.
Oh God, am I allowed to say that? Sorry.
Well, I mean, has there been any link to the? I mean, obviously we've got a really strong link to the Freemasons being the ones that have narrated and been in charge of the deconstruction of Tartaria since the reset, and obviously all that symbolism through their, with the black and white stairs and the compass and all the Masonic stuff is all connected to architecture. And once you see that, you think, fuck yeah, you are the guys that basically were the middle management that coordinated all the removal of the tech. So I wonder who was in charge of the indigenous.
This book. He's a camel master, apparently, Sir Thomas Elder, born in 1880, whatever, Scottish born, 39. Anyway, he started the whole camel trade, but check him out.
Oh, yeah, Masonic. Yeah, to the max. And who are all these stupid men they put up as the fucking builders and architects and designers? Like, who are they? They don't even, what the hell are they?
We've got to look up more names and just check out who they are. They probably, half of them probably.
They don't exist.
Yeah, I'd say half of them at least are inventions. It's like William Shakespeare, right?
Yep.
Just throw his name in for any kind of works that don't fit the narrative. Oh, and we know he probably didn't even exist anyway. It was probably Sir Francis Bacon who was found an old library somewhere.
Yep.
So it's, but I was talking to Jay Widener, is that how you say it? And he was talking about simulation theory, and there's a theory that says a good way to prove that we're in a simulation is that they focus a lot more on the present than they do on the past. You know, so they don't put a lot of work into building the narrative of the past. They're not so concerned. They just want to build it in the present. So
control the program forward.
Yeah, so that could be a part. And of course, as they control it, they can change the past anyway. So they can, they can kind of start and change it as they go.
That makes total sense. Yeah, because if they're focused on the present, then they're controlling how we generate it through our consciousness moving forward versus like having any attention on the past. And that's so true, because like our past is just like a Swiss cheese model. Like there is like, it's just so full of holes. It's like laughable. It's ridiculous.
And I think, the power is in the present, because we're creating every moment in that present, like the history is just a bit of entertainment, and the future is whatever we choose. Whatever we choose to make it. I was listening to something the other day, an astrologer woman, Pam Gregory, she was talking about the plasma, the pre-matter.
The ether.
So, same dealio, and being able to create with that energy and then create your reality through your imagination. And, being creative is a huge part of it now.
Yeah.
I reckon, like to move forward, to be able to imagine where we're headed in the positive light rather than what they're shoving down our throats every day.
The sacred book of regeneration. It's all about bringing those visions together, and like ultimately like our community. That's why I have so much honor for all the beautiful minds who are connected to this unfolding consciousness, because we are capable now of imagining ourselves back to the truth. And like that, and it takes like to imagine ourselves back to the truth, that takes ultimate imagination, right? Because it is one fucking crazy story that unless your imagination is wiring and firing and you are seriously sovereign in your creator energy and creative being, you couldn't even take it on board. You couldn't even get to the idea of what Tartaria represented. Like our creator energy, that intuitive imagination streak in us, like it's on fire in this community. And I fucking love, that's my, to me, that is the most beautiful minds on the planet. I'm so, when we get to have an Australian Tartarian conference, I will be in awe at the scallywags that turn up, because those beautiful minds, holy shit. We would do some serious, amazing manifestations together. Wow.
Well, look what's going on in the world. Everyone's out in fear. People are losing their businesses, their jobs. They're freaking out, and they're, imagining a worse future. We're jumping up and down going, it's awesome. Look what's going on. Yay. It's all happening.
No.
The future is ancient. I love that saying.
The future is ancient. Yeah. I mean, it's, sorry, Jo.
The more we understand our past, I'm not going to call it history, their story, her story. What about her?
My story.
Yeah. Can't remember what I was going to say then. Anyway, I'm excited too, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. And I'm so look forward to the conference in December, Cal.
Yeah, I think it's building. I just think it's building. I think it's just gonna, I actually think personally we are all gonna need a break. I think we're all going to need a moment to like recharge just being in each other's company. And I think it's going to make, to me, it just feels like it's going to head to the desert. And I think we're going to have a bit of a caravan trail there. I just feel like there's something very cleansing and clear and away from all this bullshit here in COVID land. So I think that Australia's fucking big enough. They've been using it for forever to hide all this shit. We can go there and hide out as well. Hello. Like, it's the biggest country in the goddamn emptiest country in the, we don't even know what's out there. It could be the most populated, densest country in the whole world for what
we don't. Yeah, we could drive for 2 days and find Atlantis or something. Who knows?
Yeah. But literally fall down a hole. Literally find a cave opening. Would we be brave enough? Would we be bold enough to go inside? We'd all be meditating on it first, I can imagine. Yeah, well, guys, I reckon we've done a good solid show here today. We've like jumped around, time traveled through Australia, questioned a few things, how to look at what this continent actually has to offer. There's so much more out there, and I really really invite our audience to like get in on the action and like do some research and send through some photos and any curiosities you've come across. Like, really, I personally have a very big interest in understanding the indigenous history. Like, I'm really something in me wants to know the truth there. Like, what is the truth there? And so yeah, I'm up for all sorts of conversations and open to discussions.
Yeah, we've also been making an effort to get around to some more small towns and take some more photos. So yeah, there'll be some more of that coming.
Excellent. It's so much fun.
And yeah, everyone should, you know, if there's anyone in Perth who wants to drive my bus around to places, well, I can't, let me know.
App, Campbell.
Check me out. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I'll go call someone up.
All right. So Campbell, remind us, give us all your socials and what's happening tomorrow. And we're very excited. You are the Aussie representation of Tartaria.
You're a legend, Campbell. Love your work. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So Martin Leedke from Flat Earth British, the first Tartarian event. I think it's called the mother, like the same as his book, the mother of all great reefs, or what is it? The Holy Grail. Book, the Holy Grail of the Great Reset. 250 people. It's going for 12 hours, speakers, live music, open bar, and it's all going to be live streamed. So I'm going to go live in about, where are we? About a couple of hours, about 2 hours. And we're just going to have a bit of a party, get ready, and then he'll be going live about an hour and a half after that. So I'll make sure I've got all the links and everything in there so that everyone can find it. So come to my channel, Autodidactic, and also the app, the Flat Earth Sun Moon app. Make sure it's by Blue Water. Grab that, guys, and connect up, make groups, talk to people. Let's do this. You know, they're trying to keep us apart. So, you know, F the system and all that kind of stuff.
Fuck the system.
Yeah.
I've totally liberated my swearing world. I'm just like swearing all over the place. I don't care.
I've noticed a lot more swearing lately. I'm not much of a swearer, but the swearing is good for emphasis. You know, it's only bad if you use it too often. It's good for emphasis. Like, he's a real egghead. Yeah, one of them.
I know normally I'm very mindful of my speech because I do a lot of talking. Normally I'm very graceful and elegant, but when it comes to this stuff, I'm just like, yeah, fuck this, fuck that. What the fuck is this? Like, I remember, like, it's really fun. Anyway, all right, guys. So thanks, everyone. Joe, total pleasure to have you on today. Great.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Yeah, you too, Campbell. Thanks, Cal.
My pleasure, guys. I'm going to upload this now. So good luck, Campbell, with tonight. What's your topic? What are you covering?
We just had a chat. It's pre-recorded, so it's just sort of on what's going on and a bit of Tartaria, and yeah,
cool.
So you'll see it there. It's all already done. So
excellent.
I'll be in the chat.
Awesome. All right, well, jump over to his chat. I'll put this up right now so people can jump over to your chat and have a live conversation with you. All right, guys, big love to you all. Have a beautiful afternoon, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Stay awesome.